You ever have one of those moments where you look around and think there's no way this is real life, right? Because that's where I was the very first night in my new house, lying on a borrowed air mattress, shivering because the heat wasn't working yet, watching the ceiling fan click with every slow, squeaky turn. And I swear I was happy. Yeah, happy, like deliriously relieved. I'd finally done it. After years of renting, years of being told not yet, someday, maybe when the market calms down, here I was, no curtains, one folding chair, a single spoon, but the house was mine. You know what I mean? That feeling deep down like you made it and no one could take that away from you. Except, well, I guess someone tried. Let me back up a sec. You see, I bought into this neighborhood where all the lawns look like they've been trimmed by the same guy with a ruler, the mailboxes match like clones, and every garage door is beige. You know that means there's an HOA, right? Homeowners Association, the three letters that make people roll their eyes and mutter about power trips over mailbox paint. But after years of dealing with landlords who'd barge in like they owned the place, which, okay, they technically did, I figured, hey, I'll take some rules if it means peace and quiet. I read the HOA docs too. Yeah, I'm that person. Highlighted, took notes, even bugged my agent with questions. Nothing wild. Just dues fence height. Don't park your food truck in the driveway, stuff like that. Nothing about them getting keys to your place. Nothing about surprise inspections. Nothing creepy. So when I found this envelope taped to my door, urgent, in red ink, like a magazine scam, I honestly laughed. Here we go. I thought, expecting the usual welcome to the neighborhood kit with a flyer about the pool and maybe a fridge magnet. Instead, I got a notice of required interior access and owner occupancy review. Yeah, interior access. They wanted inside my house like now. 72 hours after I closed, they claimed they had to come in, check my smoke detectors, make sure I wasn't hiding a disco in the basement or whatever. And then get this, if I didn't cooperate, fines, immediate occupancy restrictions, and removal proceedings. That last bit, let's just say it rattled me. Removal proceedings sounds fancy, but it's basically a threat. Do what we say, or we'll kick you out. Over what? Moving in. At first I thought maybe it was a mix-up. Maybe they thought I was renting. Maybe this was meant for someone in a condo. Nope. The letter had my name, my address, everything. And the best part, signed by Clive, general manager, with a phone number scrawled in the same red ink. Call me tonight. This is time sensitive. Sure, buddy. I did what any self-respecting millennial would do. I took pictures of everything, emailed them to myself, and texted my agent. He replied fast. That's not standard. No kidding. He told me to check the deed, confirm the title, just in case there was some weird HOA clause. Spoiler, there wasn't. The county website had my name in bold. My agent sounded for the first time worried. I've never seen anything like this, he said. They're trying to bully you. Why? Good question. That night I went down the HOA rabbit hole. Their website had stock photos, smiling families on bikes, people hugging their dogs, all that jazz. Board members listed by first name, one shared email, no real answers. But there was Clive again, general manager. General manager of what exactly? The pool. The mood. Still, I downloaded every governing document, Control F at every word you can imagine, interior access, eviction, nothing, nada. The only right of first refusal was about rentals, not yanking a house out from under someone after closing. So let's review. Clive was either incompetent, lying, or both. And all of it, frankly, was getting under my skin. Next morning, bam, 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 someone's pounding on my door like the building's on fire. I stumble over, open up, and there he is, Clive. Early 50s polo shirt tucked in, smile too wide, clipboard in hand like he's TSA. With him is a younger guy, sunglasses on, arms crossed, not even pretending to care. Clive doesn't introduce himself, just, "You're the new owner." I nod, he lifts the clipboard. "We need to do the interior inspection." I just say no. That's it. I don't move, don't open the door wider. Clive's smile doesn't budge, but his eyes narrow. "It's required." I reply, "It's not in the documents." He tries to explain, gets vague about smoke detectors and water heaters, but I'd had a home inspection so thorough I have crawl space glamour shots. He threatens removal proceedings again. I ask flat out, "Are you threatening to evict me from my own house?" He doesn't like that. The younger guy finally speaks, turns out he's Rhett. Just Rhett, like I'm supposed to know who that is. And then the truth slips out. It's a house for my dad's son. Rhett says, then tries to fix it. It's a house for me. Yeah, that happened. You could see Clive want to crawl into his shoes. So now it all made sense. They wanted my house for this kid. Suddenly their urgency, their rules, all of it, it wasn't about the community. It was about one entitled guy with connections. I stood there, leash in hand, my friend's dog ready to lunge, and told them as calmly as I could, "You are not coming inside my house. You are not taping papers to my door. If you have something official to say, mail it." Rhett stepped into my space, tried to reach past me, and the dog went off. Nothing like a low growl to remind someone of their boundaries. Clive went rigid. I held up my phone recording. "Good, I said this will be documented." Rhett sneered. "You think you're smart?" I answered. "I think you're trespassing." That was the end of the scene. They slunk off. Rhett fuming, Clive pretending it was all business. Once they were gone, my hands were shaking, not with fear, but with that kind of focused anger that comes from having your peace threatened. I called my agent again. He was furious. "This is not normal," he said. "They can't do this. They're trying to use the HOA as a weapon." Next, I emailed the board, short direct attached the letters, asked for clarification, and, started looking for a real estate attorney. In the meantime, I went over to introduce myself to my neighbor Junie, who immediately guessed what was up the second I mentioned Clive. "She's lived there 7 years, seen it all. He's been trying to get that house for his kid for months," she said. "You're not the first he's tried to push out." It was like finding out your bully had a whole rap sheet in the neighborhood. Not even an hour later, a new email popped up, non-compliance notice. Immediate action required. They were fining me for refusing access, claiming I couldn't occupy my own house, and at the bottom in that same red ink, "This is a house for my son. You cannot live here even if you are the owner." Junie saw it and went pale. That's his handwriting. I felt something settle in me like steel locking into place. So I wrote back to the HOA, copying every board member I could find. "I am the legal owner. You have no authority to restrict my occupancy or demand access without a court order or emergency. Your conduct is harassment. All future communication must be in writing. Any attempt to enter without permission is trespass." Junie nodded. Paper trail. Good. I was done being polite. My attorney Marisol called back later that day. I told her everything, sent all the screenshots. She was calm, methodical, and said the magic words, "They can't do any of this. HOAs can enforce covenants, sure fines, liens, maybe even foreclosure for not paying dues, but they can't just kick out a legal owner, especially not for someone's kid." She told me to stop talking to them in person, send everything through her, and keep all my security cameras rolling. If they kept coming, call the cops. That night I got 2 texts from an unknown number. "Last chance to do this the easy way. Move out by Friday. Don't make it worse." I screenshot everything, sent it to Marisol, and started wondering how many people in the neighborhood hated Clive. I asked Junie. She smiled, slow and sharp. "Enough," she said. Turns out I wasn't alone. The next morning I got another email. "Inspection team will arrive tomorrow at 9:00 a.m. Access is mandatory." Marisol said not to engage. If anyone showed up, call law enforcement. Let them step into the trap, she told me. Junie Tessa, a retired neighbor with the politest death glare I've ever seen, and Omar, who'd been fined for a ladder visible in his garage for 10 minutes, all came over that afternoon. They brought folders, years of Clive's petty power moves, bogus fines, threats, and evidence. "We follow the rules better than he does," Tessa said, eyes twinkling. "We looked up the bylaws. Turns out with enough signatures you can call a special meeting, recall board members, even remove the general manager." 9:00 a.m. sharp. Next day. Clive shows up, this time with a white van, 2 fake official contractors, Rhett strutting in sunglasses. Clive tries my doorknob. Yeah, just tries it like he owns the place. I open the door, chain still on. "You don't have permission to be on my property. Leave." He huffs, threatens eviction. I don't argue. I just dialed the non-emergency police line, gave my address, and said the HOA was trying to force entry. Clive tried to bark orders. Rhett shouted, "You're not special." The police arrived, asked Clive for a court order. Clive tried the "it's in the covenants" line. The officer didn't blink. "If you don't have a court order and she's asking you to leave, you leave." Rhett tried to grandstand. "It's a house for my dad's son." The officer just stared. That's not how property works. Clive and Rhett finally left faces burning. The officer issued a formal trespass warning next time charges. After that, everything unraveled. Marisol got a restraining order against Clive, and Rhett demanded all HOA communications. What came out emails where Clive schemed to get my house for his kid, drafted fake policies, even used HOA money for legal threats. The board couldn't look away anymore. Junie and the neighbors organized a recall, filled the meeting room. I played the video of Clive trying my door, showed the letter about my son. The board fired Clive, voided my fines, and hired outside counsel. Rhett and Clive were barred from the neighborhood. The HOA, now under new management, reimbursed my legal fees, cleaned up its act, and got boring again. Exactly how it should be. These days, I've got real curtains, herbs growing on the porch, and peace sleeping in a house that's actually mine. And you know the wildest part? None of it was about the house, not really. It was about standing your ground, not letting petty tyrants take what you've earned just because they're used to people rolling over. There's this line we all have somewhere where you say, no, not this time. For me, it was a taped-up envelope and a guy named Clive. So here's my question. Where's your line? When is enough actually enough? And what do you do when the rules are twisted against you? Not by the system, but by someone who thinks they are the system. Drop your thoughts below. Ever tangled with an HOA, a landlord, or a bully in a suit? Let's hear your stories, because trust me, someone out there needs to know they're not alone.